Hey guys, it's Caleb here with another video, and this one is how to ANOVA. So the game plan for today is we're going to talk about what is ANOVA, and then we're going to review some resources, and then we're going to dive straight in and do the test inside of SPSS. So confusing at the start is the acronym itself, ANOVA. The first two letters, AN, mean analysis, the O means of, and the VA mean variance, and together that is analysis of variance. Secondly, simple ANOVA and one-way ANOVA, they're two different ways to describe the same thing. So when you see those, they're synonymous. And finally, when do we use ANOVA? And we use it when one factor or one treatment variable is explored, and this factor has more than one level. So I love the example in the book so much that I actually took a picture of it and cropped it into the slide for you guys to see. And here you see group 1 gets 5 hours, group 2 gets 10 hours, and group 3 gets 20 hours. And this is hours of training per week. And we're testing, what we're measuring at the end of the training is language development test score. And so just looking at this, I would suspect that the direction of language development score would increase as hours of training per week increase. So I'm guessing for like a positive direction with this, right? And that's what you would hope to see. The more training you give someone, hopefully the more they improve. So that's kind of, what is ANOVA, but I'd like to move straight into some ANOVA resources just to help out, make this a little bit more concrete. So when I was going through the chapter for this concept, I loved this is figure 13. 1 on page 235. It was amazing. It's not only for ANOVA, it shows you a lot more about other tests as well, and kind of asking the question of like, okay, so you have this data set now, what test do you run on it? So I think that's really awesome. You guys should look at that. And then, of course, for ANOVA specifically, there's an SPSS walkthrough on page 245 and an SPSS output explanation on 246, just in case this video wasn't enough for you, or you just want some, words on a paper that'll teach you how to do this. So without further ado, we're going to dive into SPSS and we're going to run an ANOVA, and we're going to do that using sample data, and it's going to be at the same link that you got the other data set at. No worries, I will put that link in the description, but when you get there, make sure that you download the file named iqdata.sav, and we're going to run the f-test, and then we're going to analyze the results. So I'm going to go ahead and download the sample data set. You can see here. And again, I'll put this link in the video description. So I'm going to open up that file. Bear with me a moment here. I wanted to do this with you guys on the fly. Okay, so here is our data, and we are in data view. Just rolling down really quickly, I can see that we have one group, two group, we have 3 groups. And the IQ runs from like 20 to like 60 or so, something like that. Okay, so just getting a good idea of my data. I'm going to switch over to variable view because I want to make sure that this data is recorded correctly within SPSS. So that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so here, instead of calling my group a scale, it is not a scale, it's a nominal measure. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. And then we can keep scale for IQ. That's plenty. That's great. All right. So now it's time to run the test itself. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit Analyze. Come to Compare Means. And then to One-Way ANOVA. On the next screen, you have 2 possible boxes. You have Dependent List right here, and you have Factor. And so the dependent list, that's for your dependent variables. Oftentimes you're going to be putting a lot of them in, but for our study we only have one. And that dependent is IQ score, because that's what we're measuring at the end. And here we have group number, and the group number is our factor. Okay, so your list should end up looking like this: dependent list, IQ score, and then factor list, group number, group. So I'm going to hit OK to go ahead and run the test. And here we're going to see the output. So not a lot of output here. Again, when you run higher level ANOVAs, it'll be much more difficult and a lot bigger of an output. But here we can pay attention solely to these 2 figures: the F value, which is the F ratio, and the significance level. So the F value is 20, and the higher the F value, that means the more different there is between these groups. and we have a significance value of 0.000, so that's telling me that yes, there is a difference between these two groups, and yes, it is a significant difference. So if we look back at our data just real quick to kind of make this concrete, that data set is saying yes, there is a difference between group 1, 2, and 3, and it is a large difference. We have 3 groups and they're scoring very differently, such that the ratio of their the variance is 20, and we have a significance ratio of less than 0.001. So that means super significant, super realistic. Now, ANOVAs don't really give a deep understanding of what's happening with the data. You see, just from this pane, all I can see is that yes, there is a difference, and yes, it is significant. But I don't know what variables are affecting each other exactly, and I don't know the direction of those interactions. So if I wanted to find out, deeper understanding of that, I would actually have to do t-tests or some other test to drill down and understand what's happening underneath this ANOVA. But the ANOVA is a great way to get a sky levels view of your data. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.